Well, today is the day for the Oscars. Used to be played primarily on Mondays, usually in April, as I recall. And certainly society has made changes, and not necessarily for the better, but again, these are the people that are in favor of censorship. Many of them have actively pressured um, social media companies to actively censor. And this is what Hollywood is today, whether you like it or not. I mean, and whether you think the kind of censorship that social media platforms put out there is a good thing. It is what it is. But if you're watching that and you're supporting it, that is what you are supporting. And I want to mention, hi, High Ridge Estates. How are you? Good to hear from you, even though we sometimes vehemently disagree. I want to say that some of my conservative beliefs came out of retaliation because of left wing beliefs. And I don't know if I necessarily believed in it, but there was a part of me that I saw very much an uncompromising group. And I wanted to give them a little bit of a dose of their own medicine, and not only a dose of it, I wanted to give them more of it. I wanted them to overload on it and give it to them hard. I think that's natural. There's a natural need to want to retaliate to things that you see are unreasonable. And for me, the way in which of my childhood and the way I was raised, um, of course, things escalate, and that may be the way of things now. Things are escalating. I was on a Discord site. People were saying that that nukes had been used in this whole Ukraine thing, which is untrue, by the way. Didn't happen, but they were trolling. Um, and God, sometimes part of me feels like, yeah, nuclear holocaust might not be that bad. All the suffering, the isolation from this COVID stuff, and the habitual wearing of masks, and the divisions in this country about like what is the right thing to do. We tend to talk at each other, not to each other. Uh, and that may be true on social media, but when you start to talk to people, there are people that are kind of reasonable. But oftentimes, the people that are out there are the ones that the most angry, and the people we've given microphones to, uh, not necessarily the best type of people to represent any kind of cause. And perhaps that will change, and then again, it might not. I was listening to Sam Vaknin. He deals with narcissism, and he was talking about the MGTOW, the red pill, and the black pill community. And he had an interesting take on that. Um, that there's a lot of myths going on out there. At least he believes them. I haven't heard any response. Now, Sam Vaknin is he himself says he is an admitted narcissist. So I'm assuming that if you challenge his views, he could be extremely vindictive. But what he said seemed to make sense. uh, before I go all in and believe what he was saying. I'd have to I'd have to examine it for myself. But it seemed to make a lot of sense. This whole uh, 20, I mean, this whole 80-20% kind of thing of women only going after, or 80% of women going after only 20% of men, in the whole Chad thing. There's a lot of I think perhaps maybe myth out there on things. I mean, and we've been dealing with myth for a long time, uh, both conservative and liberal. If we want to get into one of the myths that I find to be most really destructive within the conservative movement, is this lone wolf type of thing, that you do it on your own. And that came out of the movies of the West. You had this, strong loner type. And in reality, when people went West, they went with a whole group of people to help them out and help them survive. And you need people, you need that human connection to help you survive to the best of your ability. And there are a lot of men that are kind of hooked, and I was one of them, that are kind of hooked on this lone wolf kind of thing that rejects community. Because community can be tough and it can be humiliating and this and that, but you need humanity, you need people, uh, and you need good people. Bad people will take advantage. And a lot of these lone wolf types are often taken, who want to do that, are often taken advantage of by manipulative people, and they're less likely to do that if you have a strong community beside you. And liberal people also, the artist types, they're the loner artist type. That's also, it's all. It seems to lead itself to abuse. Um, I mean, the truth is, without human beings, would life really even be worth living? If you were the only person left on Earth? Now, some people say, yeah, it would be. But most people, they want human connection and they want human beings. And kind of got to go out there and try to find it. And you know what? You got to seem to the fact that in your life you may not find that human connection. But it's always something worth trying, trying to do, finding that human connection, and perhaps moving forward. Uh, whether it's moving out of a state that is destructive and falling, or making that state a better place, the place that you live a better place, or getting together with people and moving out of that place, because there is a lot of destructiveness uh, in a lot of these big cities. Uh, and it seems that we have a lot of compassion for individuals that perhaps shouldn't have the same kind of compassion, or selective compassion, for drug addicts and for real degenerates and the hardworking people that are trying to work, uh, get limited compassion, and actually sometimes seem to get scorned. Dennis Dyke says most most humans must die because they don't treat their fellow humans in a respectful, compassionate manner. And here is Master of Rope going, boo hoo, boo hoo. And people like Master of Rope exist. They're there to boo hoo your ideas, that they're there to put them down. Howard often does that to my show. He's there, he's there to tell me what a terrible show I have, and like, this is an abortion. He will often say that, and he is a smart person, but I don't think he gets along and plays well with others. And so I've known him over the years, and he's kind of latched on to me. And there are interesting people out there. You'll find, but I try to think beyond the emotion. He is a character. I want to almost ask: Is being a character necessarily a good thing when your character is, if the character is destructive, or the character doesn't think and can't think beyond their own nose, and can you think beyond, like, you just see this, or can you see the whole picture? And that is my struggle. My also struggle is eating. I overeat. I am diabetic, and I have to be careful with what I eat, and I cannot indulge the way I used to indulge. And I indulged yesterday, and I'm hoping not to indulge, and I'm hoping to really work hard. And when I go to work, I'm hoping to work hard, and I hope everyone else. And Master of Rope says, I expect you to make an entertaining show, but you disappoint. You should come in with the lowest expectations, Master of Rope, Junie. Come in and think that I'm going to really stink up the place. I'm really going to suck. And then when I don't suck so bad, you won't be disappointed. I come in and say, you know what? I'm going to have a really strong urge to overeat. I'm going to have a strong urge to eat sugar. I'm going to have a strong urge to do a lot of destructive things. But I'm going to do my best to overcome all of them. And it's going to be a fight. And I'm getting in the ring, and I'm going to fight my own personal demons. And then perhaps the demons that are out there. Now, all rapists, pedos, murderers must not be imprisoned. They are not to be cared for till they rot in jail and die. It costs too much money to keep them alive. Interesting, Dennis. Interesting. How do we deal with pedophiles, rapists, murderers, yada, yada, yada? And how do we deal with a society that seems to be hypocritical and self-indulgent? How do you handle that? It is what it is. Sometimes there are powers that are against you, and sometimes you have to deal with, like, a crappy boss, or you're living under the roof of a crappy parent, and you have to navigate. You have to decide what is the best solution to this problem. And it's always good to talk to people and find out what is, what a good friend. Hopefully you can find someone like that, a good friend to well, whether we need them or not. Now Master Rope says we need sickos in the world to keep the world balanced. Well, doesn't mean we need them. They're there. Sickos are there whether we want them or not. Bad, abusive people are there whether we want them or not. And a lot of bad, abusive people think that what they're doing is correct and right. So, and ego plays a big role in that. And ego is man's biggest narcotic. And I snort like everybody else, I think I know what's right for everybody, perhaps. But even for myself, I'm overeating. I am, and I'm not working as hard as I can. So I'm going to try to work, do my best, and see how I can do my own personal best. And whatever the rest of the world brings to me is beyond my control. So the things I cannot, the things that are beyond my control, and the things that I can. And right now, even controlling my appetite is a difficult thing. And controlling how hard I can work is a difficult thing. And Joe and I are going to talk about some natural supplements that people can take to improve their lives. When he comes back, we have a whole plan on what perhaps is the best types of things that people can do that aren't necessarily over the counter, that are actually over the counter and not prescribed by doctors, that are just natural supplements, and what nutritional ideals are best. So, yeah. And also perhaps even getting a group of communal, like-minded people together and talking about our problems and talking about how best to solve those interpersonal problems, particularly amongst men, because men are truly suffering today. Women suffer too, but I think men are suffering a little bit more. And I think there are reasons for that, and those reasons are not necessarily what you think. Anyway, this has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and if you gain anything from it, share the video. And also visit our website, transparencyandmerit.com.